accord ahead of polls. Federal government and dirty fuel say no petrol above 50 ppm in Nigeria. Federal government adopts household mapping to tackle 15 out-of-school children in the country. Senate expands oil sector probe to agencies, firms over NATI's audit findings. Oyedele explains how Nigeria spent FX subsidy removal on savings. Uriwa accuses reps panel of prejudging PFIPC probe. That's on the front page of The Guardian today. Banks flag 13,017 BVNs for fraud as consumer credit falls to 3.8 trillion naira. That's from The Guardian today. Let's go to the Punch newspaper now. Oyo abduction, why we tracked arrested kidnappers' families. That's according to the president, Bola Tinubu. Abductors wanted us to release their detained members, pay ransom. That's also from the president. We were prepared to finish with terrorist families. Militants from Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger are feeling Nigeria's insecurity. Front page of the Punch this morning. Osun 2026, Adeleke Oyebamiji signed peace pact as INEC warns troublemakers. Few subsidy savings report coming soon, says Oyedele. Drug trafficking in Africa jumps sixfold in 2 years. That's according to Africom, front page of the Punch as well. Army probes leaked DSS memo warning of Adamawa Borno attacks. Front page of the Punch this morning. Let's go to the Daily Trust. End bad governance protests. Victims' families await compensation 2 years after. Stop building flyovers, Tinubu tells governors. 2027, INEC rejects routine deployment of soldiers during elections. Otedola raises stake to 25.87%. How Colonel Ude was killed in Abuja, that's also on the front page of the Daily Trust today. Federal government set over 2,000 illicit weapons ablaze. Newlywed sentenced to death for killing a husband. And finally, from the Daily Trust today, 9 die in Abuja Lokoja road crash. Front page of the Daily Trust this morning. We'll take our first commercial break of the morning. When we'll get back, we'll be analyzing the top stories across the dailies for you to stay with us.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM, 94.9, the antidote to depression.
Before, my family can go 1 week without drama. 1 week, one wahala. Maggie, oh, love, oh, me and Maggie so good together. Okay, now my Maggie right. Come with peace, oh, peace. Oh, no, come at all, oh, before. Maggie, oh, love, oh, me and Maggie so good together. Me and Maggie so good together.
When I'm hungry and I need a quick meal. Something crunchy, creamy, and tasty. Ghee mix is just all I need. Ghee mix just the way I like it. Gary creamer and sugar, just the way I like it. Ghee mix. Gary soaking made easy. Enjoy at school, home, or work.
Kivo 3-in-1 Gary Mix. Just add water and enjoy.
Gary mix.
Lọ́pọ̀ ìgbà àwọn èèyàn kì í mọ bí dátà àwọn ṣe máa ń tètè jó tán. Èmi gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ alágbèéká wa jẹ́ kí n jẹ́ ẹ sí bó ti ṣe máa ń ṣẹlẹ̀ gan-an. Kété tí olówó mi bá ti sùn ni màá ti máa ṣe ohun tí kò ní mọ̀ tó bá sì mọ̀. Àpẹẹrẹ kí n sáré ṣe auto update nìyẹn tí oorun bá ti wọ̀ lára. Iṣẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ nìyẹn, màá ṣe cloud backup tó bá ti wá fi oorun rẹ̀ sí GIA 3. Gbogbo àwọn apps tó ti ṣí sílẹ̀ lèmi á máa refresh ní tèmi o, tó fi dórí àwọn apps tí ó lò gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ mọ̀ pé mo gbọ́dọ̀ mọ gbogbo bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ lórí ayélujára. Tí olówó mi bá ti jí, ẹgbọ́n tó máa ń wí.
Yéè, mo gbé o, dátà tí mo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ṣe máa ti tán.
Ṣé mi ò sọ fún ẹ?
Jára ẹ, má jẹ́ kí fóònù ẹ máa fi dátà rẹ ṣe óblé. Ṣe àkíyèsí auto updates. Pa àwọn apps tí o kò bá nílò nígbàkúùgbà.
Ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ lásán lèmi o. Kòkòrò tí ń jẹ dátà ní ìjẹkújẹ fún ẹni tí ò bá ṣe àmójútó dátà rẹ̀.
Jẹ ìgbádùn dátà rẹ ní wẹ̀lẹ̀mú. Leave it 100 MTN.
Ṣadé kù sí ọkọ mi. Mo bí yàrá ìgbàlejò mi àti yàrá ìdáná mi ṣe mọ́ tí wọ́n dàbí tuntun.
Màámi.
Ṣùgbọ́n dúró náà, ó ṣe fi hypo nu ilẹ̀ àti tábìlì pẹ̀lú àwọn ibi tá a ti ń dáná yìí.
Hypo kẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, àwọn kòkòrò àìfojúrí kì í gbà lẹ́rọ̀. Torí náà làwa náà ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ máa pèsè ààbò lójoojúmọ́ pẹ̀lú hypo.
Má gbà fáwọn kòkòrò àìfojúrí, dáàbò bo ilé rẹ pẹ̀lú hypo.
Home is where we find comfort in hearts that love. Love that's shared.
Shared meals like delicious jollof and chicken.
Made with hunger. Home is hearts and bellies filled with sizzling chicken stew, ofoha eforivo, jollof rice, pepper soup, proper banga and starch with fresh fish made with hunger.
That's why we say let's go home. There's food at home.
Enjoy the taste of home with the newly improved Onga Chicken Flavor Cube.
The taste of home.
Some days don't stop. Between the morning rush and endless meetings, finding a moment for yourself feels impossible. When that moment comes, make it count with Cadbury Hot Chocolates. Creamy chocolatey, made with real cocoa and milk. Just add hot water.
Enjoy Cadbury Hot Chocolate at 350 Naira only. Cadbury Hot Chocolate, the treat you deserve.
Lọ́pọ̀ ìgbà, àwọn èèyàn kì í mọ bí dátà wọn ṣe máa ń tètè jó tán. Èmi gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ alágbèéká wa, jẹ́ kí n jẹ́ ẹ sí bó ti ṣe máa ń ṣẹlẹ̀ gan-an. Kété tí olówó mi bá ti sùn, ni màá ti máa ṣe ohun tí kò ní mọ̀ tó bá sì mọ̀. Àpẹẹrẹ kí n sáré ṣe auto update nìyẹn tí oorun bá ti wọ̀ lára. Iṣẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ nìyẹn, màá ṣe cloud backup tó bá ti wá fi oorun rẹ̀ sí GR 3. Gbogbo àwọn apps tó ti ṣí sílẹ̀ lèmi á máa refresh ní tèmi o, tó fi dórí àwọn apps tí ó lò gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ mọ̀ pé mo gbọ́dọ̀ mọ gbogbo bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ lórí ayélujára. Tí olówó mi bá ti jí, ẹgbọ́n tó máa ń wí.
Yéè, mo gbé o, dátà tí mo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ṣe máa ti tán.
Ṣé mi ò sọ fún ẹ?
Jára ẹ, má jẹ́ kí fóònù ẹ máa fi dátà rẹ ṣe óblé. Ṣe àkíyèsí auto updates. Pa àwọn apps tí o kò bá nílò nígbàkúùgbà.
Ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ lásán lèmi o. Kòkòrò tí ń jẹ dátà ní ìjẹkújẹ fún ẹni tí ò bá ṣe àmójútó dátà rẹ̀.
Jẹ ìgbádùn dátà rẹ ní wẹ̀lẹ̀mú. Leave it 100 MTN.
My family can go 1 week without drama. 1 week, one wahala. Maggie, love, oh, me and Maggie so good together. Yeah. Okay, now my Maggie make it right. Come with peace, oh, peace. Oh, no, come at all, oh, before. Maggie, love, oh, me and Maggie so good together. Me and Maggie so good together.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us on your laughter station. 32 FM 94.9 is the Break It Down Papers Review, where we take you through the top stories across the dailies and also break down the stories for you so you can understand these issues beyond the headlines. We have Dr. Bayo Busari with us to do that this morning. He's the head of department, mass communications, Leeds City University here in Ibadan. Doctor, great to have you. Good morning, sir. Hello, doctor. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. My pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, good morning. Right, let's start off with what is pretty much the lead story of virtually all the papers I have with me this morning. It's the president meeting with the delegation of Oyo State traditional rulers in Abuja yesterday. And he spoke for the first time since the release of those children and teachers who were carted away by criminals from their school in Orire local government area here in Oyo State. He talked about how his government stood its ground, refused to negotiate with or pay ransom to the militant who kidnapped those school children and teachers back in May. He said the abductors demanded both money, release of jihad members of their gang, demands that were flatly rejected and described the military-led rescue that freed the victims after 56 days in captivity. He said it was intelligence-driven and successful without ransom. I'd like to get your thought first on the fact that this is the first time President is speaking about it, and you know that there have been several conspiracy theories as to what actually played out. There's been a lot of narrative trying to question the issues behind this. Remember that the governor himself said that the UN needed to come in and investigate the circumstances leading to the abduction of those school children. So what do you make of the president explaining the modalities of the release of those children? That's one. Number two is that, some of the issues that surrounded this operation were, claims and counterclaims on the part of both the government at the state level and at the federal level. It seemed like there was this kind of bickering over who did what and who was responsible for the rescue. So there are those who say, well, this kind of delegation should have happened before now. Maybe the governor visiting the president or the president calling the governor. There are those who are also reading political meanings to this delegation as well, bearing in mind the politicking that is going on at the state level for the gubernatorial seat, the calculation of the influence of the Olubadan Barashidi Ladoja and other traditional rulers, and who they are, allegedly backing in the governorship race. So there's a lot of things to unpack from this visit. So I'd like to get your thought, using the context I just laid, the background I just laid regarding the story.
Just like you said, probably we ought to have heard from the president full details surrounding the issue of Orire, particularly from the perspective that politics was read into it. It came from our governor alleging that there was manipulation and what have you. One expected that there would have been a way of clarifying. So we wouldn't know whether the visit by the traditional rulers was at the instance of the federal government to provide an opportunity for the president to say something about the issue, or it came from the traditional rulers. We wouldn't know if it was from the traditional rulers what prompted their visit, because one expected that the Shogun of Ogbomoso, whose domain was the theater of the incident, would have been part of the delegation, but we didn't see him, though we saw a chief from Ogbomoso, so we don't know whether that chief represented Shogun or not. The Alaf was not part of the delegation, so we wouldn't know why he was not there. Well, having said that, the president, I think by what he said yesterday, should have laid to rest the issue surrounding the Orire abduction, particularly in this insinuations, whether politics was involved, whether it was conspiracy theory or whatever. So I think what the president said yesterday should have laid that to rest. Considering who the traditional rulers are supporting, I think we should try to insulate them from politics. It could be that at one time or the other, one or two of them could have been in politics, but having ascended to the traditional throne, which, expect them that should become father to everyone, I think we should give that to them. Whatever is said in the open is what we should discuss. It was not reported yesterday that part of what they went out to discuss has to do with politics. So I think we should leave that to them. All the candidates, whether in the APC, PDP, APM, Accord, Labour, and what have you, they're all indigenous of Oyo State.
Yeah.
And it's just accident of history that one of them has to come from a particular place. It's just accident of history. The constitution does not recognize that you must come from a particular city or town or village or whatever for you to aspire to a public office. What the constitution recognizes are certain conditions which you have to fulfill. And I think all of them satisfy those conditions.
Right.
So it's an insinuation which I think we should just leave the KBSs out of that. So that we don't say what they've not said. Yoruba will tell you that this is what you said, not what you intend to say. So let's talk on what they said. Let's give what they didn't say to us, so that we don't say things out of context.
Right. So, as you said, Doctor, you talked about the absence of the Shong of Ogbomosho. Don't you think some of these things can create an impression about some undercurrents going on? That's one. Number two is that there are those who say this kind of meeting should have even happened between the governor and the president himself, because there are people who had talked about how the president did not call the governor did not call the president. These are some of the things that came out, at the time this kidnap also happened. So in addition to that, the governor set up a judicial commission of inquiry to investigate the abduction of those children and teachers. The Commissioner for Information, Mr. Dotun Yelade, made this in a statement yesterday. He said this commission would determine the circumstances surrounding the abduction and identify factors that led to the security breach that led to the abduction of those children. So, this is coming after the governor had raised alarm inviting the United Nations. Do you think that this kind of commission should have even been set up? There are those who say, why call the United Nations in the first place? If you can set up an internal judicial commission of inquiry to actually investigate the circumstances of this kidnap. So those issues I raised. The first one is that if the kind of meeting between the traditional rulers, by the way, we had the absence of key traditional rulers as well, as you mentioned. If this kind of meeting should have happened between the governor and the president himself, because I remember during the NSAS protest, the governor visited President Muhammadu Buhari, who is late now, and presented a report to him as to what played out, in Oyo State at the time. There was also that communication when there was that explosion here in Bodija, Ibadan. So one wonders why this kind of meeting has not taken place. And then let's also look at this commission of inquiry set up by the state government to investigate the circumstances of this abduction.
What I think is affecting the issue raised is the kind of relationship, personal relationship that's existing between the president and Mr. Governor here. You recall that prior to the winning of the election of Mr. President in 2023, Governor 𝐂𝐈𝐒 played a very key role in the success of president to become, candidate then, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So we wouldn't know what happened between the two of them along the line. Something fundamental must have happened. And they're taking that into governance, which I think is not good for us. We should be able to discriminate between personal relationship and official relationship. This is between Oyo State government and the federal government, between the governor of Oyo State and the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But they allowed their personal relationship to interfere in what is happening between the two of them. And I think it's not good enough. Statements should be able to rise above certain primordial sentiments, which in this instance they've not been able to, both of them. Whether the president is calling the governor or the governor is calling the president, one person should call the other. If one doesn't call, the other should call. And then you can lay your grievance. I expect that this will happen and didn't happen. Why? But I've not seen the two of them writing a statement to put behind them their private sentiments and then deal with national issue. And I think that's what has happened so far. Like the instances you mentioned. The governor visited the president when incident on Oyo State happened, that Bodija blast.
Yes.
So at that time, the arrangement was smooth, so to say, was cordial. And that was why the federal government could, release Oyo State government certain financial assistance to, ameliorate that. But this issue of return and what have you has crept in and separated both of them. The two of them have forgotten that in the first instance they are Yoruba men, and in Yoruba protocol, there are certain things you need to follow. So we are not observing that culture. So I don't know. That has happened. Then on the issue of the call for international intervention,
so he has set up a commission of inquiry now. That also say this should have come before calling on the United Nations.
I think the call the governor made was like putting the cart before the horse. If you are going to ask for an international intervention, there should be a basis for it. And I think this is what that Judicial Commission of Inquiry should have been able to establish. If at the end of the day, the panel returns a report that there are certain things that were responsible for what happened, then you can now call for, whether international intervention or national intervention or whatever you want to call for. But, saying that if at the end of the day, this panel returns a report that some people were involved, you could say, probably it was working to the answer. just to justify the call that the government made in the first instance. So I think to those who advised Mr. Governor in the first instance, did not give him the right advice. This Judicial Commission of Inquiry should have come before he made the call. If he's making the call after the report, then we will say there is a basis to do that. But the governor made an allegation and has not given us any evidence to justify, to prove the allegation he made. So if the commissioner comes up with a report, the tendency is for people to say, that was working to the answer to justify the position that Mr. Governor raised in the first instance. But let us wait. Don't let us prevent what the commissioner will come up with. Let's wait and see the report, and let's see those that will come out to assist the commission in his work.
Right.
And I hope they will be able to give us something that will help us, not about what is happening now, but in preventing further reoccurrence of such incidents.
Okay, before we leave that meeting between the president and a delegation of traditional rulers, he also did speak about other issues. He said that governors should focus on building roads that enhance the activities of security agencies instead of building just flyovers where there is little vehicular traffic. Now, he spoke directly to the Olubadan. Let me quote so he said, "You have governed before as governor. You need to help us communicate to these governors. Today, the economy of operation is high, but the money I'm pushing to the state, if you had it during your time or during my own time, it would have been different." So, is the president insinuating that the kind of resources available to governors, they are not utilizing them judiciously, or they are being profligate with these resources? Because he's saying that he spoke directly to the Olubadan, saying that if you had this kind of fund during your own time, or if I had this kind of fund during my own time, things would have been different. That right now what we're seeing is governors just building flyovers or projects that don't directly impact the people. What do you make of the statement of the president? Please, we'll get your thoughts, regarding that after this commercial break. Doctor, please stay with us.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM, 94.9, the antidote to depression.
Before, my family can go 1 week without drama. 1 week, 1 wahala. Maggie, love, oh, me and Maggie so good together. Yeah, okay, now my Maggie make it right. Come with peace, oh, peace, oh. No come at all, oh, before, Maggie, love, oh, me and Maggie so good together. Me and Maggie so good together.
Màámi, tẹ́ ẹ bá rí bí mo ṣe fọ ilé ìgbọ̀nsẹ̀ yẹn, ẹ wò ó mọ́ gidi gan ni.
Ó lè wọ́n lójú lóòótọ́, ṣùgbọ́n lílo hypo toilet cleaner túbọ̀ máa pa àwọn kòkòrò àìfojúrí tó wà níbẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o, má gbà fáwọn kòkòrò àìfojúrí, dáàbò bo ilé ìgbọ̀nsẹ̀ rẹ lójoojúmọ́ pẹ̀lú hypo toilet cleaner.
Some days don't stop. Between the morning rush and endless meetings, finding a moment for yourself feels impossible. When that moment comes, make it count with Cadbury hot chocolates. Creamy chocolatey, made with real cocoa and milk. Just add hot water.
Enjoy Cadbury Hot Chocolate at 350 Naira only. Cadbury Hot Chocolate, the treat you deserve.
Nuderica smoky jollof, firewood cook smoky flavor. The aroma so inviting, smoky jollof so delicious.
New Derica Smoky Jollof Tomato Seasoning Mix. So smoky, just like Mama's.
And my memories came alive. Derica, so smoky jollof. Derica, smoky jollof, just like Mama's.
Lọ́pọ̀ ìgbà, àwọn èèyàn kì í mọ bí dátà wọn ṣe máa ń tètè jó tán. Èmi gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ alágbèéká wa, jẹ́ kí n jẹ́ ẹ sí bó ti ṣe máa ń ṣẹlẹ̀ gan-an. Kété tí olówó mi bá ti sùn, ní màá ti máa ṣe ohun tí kò ní mọ̀ tó bá sì mọ̀. Àpẹẹrẹ kí n sáré ṣe auto update nìyẹn tí oorun bá ti wọ̀ lára. Iṣẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ nìyẹn, màá ṣe cloud backup tó bá ti wá fi oorun rẹ̀ sí GR3. gbogbo àwọn apps tó ti ṣí sílẹ̀ lèmi á máa refresh ní tèmi o tó fi dórí àwọn apps tí ó lò gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ ẹ mọ̀ pé mo gbọ́dọ̀ mọ gbogbo bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ lórí ayélujára tí olówó mi bá ti jí ẹgbọ́n tó máa ń wí.
yéè mo gbé o dátà tí mo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ṣe máa ti tán.
ṣé mi ò sọ fún ẹ.
jára ẹ má jẹ́ kí fóònù ẹ máa fi dátà rẹ ṣe óblé ṣe àkíyèsí auto updates pa àwọn apps tí o kò bá nílò nígbàkúùgbà.
ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ lásán lèmi o kòkòrò tí ń jẹ dátà ní ìjẹkújẹ fún ẹni tí ò bá ṣe àmójútó dátà rẹ̀.
jẹ ìgbádùn dátà rẹ ní wẹ̀lẹ̀mú limit 100 MTN.
èèmọ̀ lókùtù pẹ́bẹ́ àdìo tá ń làwọn màálù tí ń rìn káàkiri láì lóríṣìí yìí níbi ayé lajúdé yìí káwọn kan tó máa da màálù káàkiri ìgboro kó màálù wọnú oko olóko ẹ̀ ń bá ní nǹkan ọ̀sìn ewúrẹ́ tẹ ìdórí màálù ó wá bìkan ṣe lọ́jọ́ kí wọ́n yé rìn káàkiri ìgboro ó ti dòfin o ó ti dìwà ọ̀daràn àti màálù àtẹni ní màálù ni wọ́n jọ jólàǹbà lábẹ́ òfin àjọ tí ń rí sí ìbọ̀wọ̀ fún òfin ohun ìmúlò òfin nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ State Rule of Law Enforcement Authority ló ń ké tantan o àtàtẹ̀yàn tá a wí lọ́rọ̀ tí ò gbọ́ ń bọ̀ wá figbá kéré mú mi kíkan ẹ̀yẹ dá màálù kágboro nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
Home is where we find comfort in hearts that love. Love that's shared.
Shared meals like delicious jollof and chicken.
Made with hunger. Home is hearts and bellies filled with sizzling chicken stew, ofoha eforivo, jollof rice, pepper soup, proper banga and starch with fresh fish made with hunger.
That's why we say, let's go home. There's food at home.
Enjoy the taste of home with the newly improved 𝐒𝐲𝐿 chicken flavor cube.
The taste of home.
Kivo 3-in-1 omi nìkan ló kù kó fi kún. Kivo Gary Mix.
Kò sí oúnjẹ tí kò wú kókó inú ìjòyè pàtàkì ní àmàlà láwùjọ òkèlè aláṣírí onínáwó ìmùlẹ̀yà oníbùkà kò bá gbóná kó ṣe tútù kí ọbẹ̀ ṣáà ti lọ́wọ́rọ́ ọ̀fun mi.
ilé eléyìí o. ẹja ọsàn.
32 FM 94.9 fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ ló tún ti tẹ́ pẹpẹ ètò àyájọ́ àmàlà fest ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì irú ẹ̀ ló tún kò lọ́jọ́ kọkàndínlọ́gbọ̀n oṣù kẹjọ ọdún 2026 29 August 2026 àti ṣẹ́rí a máa tún ṣe yìí a sì tún máa ṣọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ orú ẹ̀ lókè èpè tó ń ti gbádùn àlùjò àwàdà ẹ̀rín kéékèèké tó ń ti fífi àmàlà dúdú tàbí funfun tó fẹ́lẹ́ bí etí pẹ̀lú ọbẹ̀ ewédú gbẹ̀gìrì ìlà ẹ̀fọ́ rírò ẹran pọ̀nmọ́ tó kàtà mọ́ra ṣe kọ̀rọ̀bọ̀tọ̀ sórí àmàlà láfijọ́ máa ṣèjọ́ ẹ̀ ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́ta náírà lẹ́ọ̀fẹ̀rà tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì jẹ̀gbádùn tó gbádùn pẹ̀lú àwọn olóúnjẹ ìgbàlódé láwùjọ tó yáàyè táyé ń gba tiwọn bíbí food canteen lókè àdó ìyá àdìjà alámàlà níyànà àdí ọ̀yọ́ ìyá ọ̀yọ́ alámàlà lọ́jà àgbàrìmú àtàwọn olóúnjẹ ìgbàlódé míì kò tán síbẹ̀ àwọn òdíje wọ̀nyí bíi ta ló lè jẹ̀sùn àmàlà bàkìtàn láàrin ìṣẹ́jú àyà tàbí ta lọkùnrin náà tó lè ro àmàlà tó fẹ́lẹ́ tó kóná bíi etí atẹ́ni tó lè yára tètè jàmàlà tó gbóná láàrin ìṣẹ́jú àyà ọ̀fẹ́ ni fọ́ọ̀mù ẹ wá sí 32 FM Laughter House Premier Hill Mọ́kọ́lá Ìbàdàn bó bá wà dọjọ́ kọkàndínlọ́gbọ̀n oṣù kẹjọ ọdún 2026 kàtúyàyà pàdé ní Recreation Club ní dojúkọ Àdámàṣègbà nílùú Ìbàdàn ọ̀làtò ti sọ̀díwòkè bùkà bùtà tó ń tẹran tó jíire pẹ̀ lálùjọ tó bá gbà mú Amala Fest 2026 láti ra tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì ẹ máa bọ̀ ní Laughter House tàbí kẹ́ẹ̀pẹ́ nọ́mbà yìí 0806-218-5194 pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ iléeṣẹ́ tó ń pọ̀ ti Rẹ́gà àti Maggi èmi àti Maggi alájọṣepọ̀ tó dánmọ́rán.
Before, my family can go 1 week without drama. 1 week, one wahala. Maggie, oh, love, oh, me and Maggie so good together. Yeah. Okay, now my Maggie make it right. Come with piece of peace. Oh, no, come at all, oh, before, Maggie, oh. Together.
32 FM
94.9.
Thank you for staying with us. Break It Down Papers Review, your laughter station, 32 FM 94.9, 8 minutes past 7 o'clock. We're still looking at the top stories across the dailies this Friday morning. Dr. Babu Sari is our analyst, is the head of the department mass communication, Leeds City University here in Ibadan. Doctor, thank you for staying with us. Before we went on that break, we were about to get your reactions to the president's statement directly to the Olubadan when he received the delegation of traditional rulers from Oyo State saying, look, if I had the kind of resources governors have now during my time or during your time, things would be different. He says governors should stop erecting flyovers that have little vehicular traffic or little impact directly on the lives of the people. Your thoughts?
What the president said was hypothetical. And I think it's expressing a personal opinion. By the federal agreement that we're running, every government has right over the revenue that comes to it, and has right to use it the way it deems fit, considering what they consider their priority within their domain. So it's an expression that is a personal thing that the president is expressing, and I think politics can be read into that. Telling Kabiyesi that it will have to be his time or his own time. Everybody had his own time, and the project all of them did. If we had to take them and review them, we could come to consider some of them at the time were not necessary. So let's leave every government to its own. Those who should take up governors are the people of each of the states, and they are not doing that. So probably because the president is a politician and he thinks that he is above every one of them, that's why he's expressing opinion. If the reason between him and Governor Makinde was smooth, was cordial, as it was before, I don't think we would have said what he said. So let's leave our sentiment on this issue. Let's address issues as they are. The president failed to do certain things with that Orire incident. The governor failed to do certain with that Orire incident. And I think the incident has come and gone. We should just leave it and let it pass.
Right.
If there are issues, then we can raise them and address them accordingly. We are in the season of electioneering. There's no doubt about that. And every politician is interested in winning election. The president is interested in winning election. And peradventure, by extension, is interested in his party coming back to Oyo State to govern over the state. So all of these things, we can read politics in them.
Right.
And I think we should, like I said, let us insulate our traditional rulers from politics. Let them leave them. Let's leave them out. Let them stay as fathers to everybody. So everybody can go to them at any time. And whatever they do in the open, we'll take them as being sincere.
Okay, so let's go to another story now from the Vanguard. The federal government and organized labor have this disagreement over the use of savings from the removal of fuel subsidy. Now, the government, through the Minister of Finance and the coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, said that the savings were used to finance ways and means, to service debt, to finance the increased workers' salaries at the federal level, student loans payment, among others. Although he said, look, people should be patient. I understand people are asking questions that, you claim that you removed subsidy, that we're saving money. What are you using the savings for? He said there will be a full report of what these savings were used for in the coming days. But he just highlighted a few things, that the money has been used for: student loan, workers' salaries, servicing debt, and ways and means. So the organized labor is kicking that this explanation is not enough. Now, according to Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, saying that many Nigerians will simply compare the past and the present, and conclude that the reform is working. He said minimum wage went up to 30,000, from 30,000 to 70,000. That almost doubled the wage bill of the government. He said that now Fund 1.5 million students are receiving not only tuition but stipends on a monthly basis. So, that's the explanation given. He spoke during a question and answer session at the 7th Africa Emerging Market Forum in Abuja, while responding to concerns over what became of the savings realized from the reforms. Bear in mind that the government at federal level had also said that more money is given to the governors at the state level with the FAC allocation. And here is the federal government also coming to say, look, we have service debt, we have increased minimum wage, we have paid student loan. These are some of the things that we've used this savings from. fuel subsidy for. So what do you make of this explanation? Good enough explanation to put to rest all of the doubts, regarding how these savings have been expended?
That's coming on the part of the federal government.
Yes.
And we expect a parallel explanation from all our governors. Because the revenue from, derived from first subsidy removal goes to all the levels of government, even up to the local government. So we expect that all of them should explain to us what they've been doing with the revenues that have accrued to them. I know they too will talk about salary increase because we are only a unitary approach to our wage and salary and what have you. So they too will talk about that. I know they too will talk about several projects that have done. But the reality is this: what he has explained, to what extent can the members of the National Assembly corroborate in terms of oversight function, corroborate what the minister has said and say, oh, actually what the minister has said was what has happened and we are satisfied as representatives of our people? To what extent can state lawmakers corroborate whatever their governor is going to say, that, oh, what the Mr. Governor said is actually the reality and we are satisfied with that? To what extent can our lawmakers, who are supposed to be our mouth, our hair, our everything, as far as governance is concerned, to what extent can we rely on them to corroborate the position that the minister, obviously the minister will say what he has said. Any minister will have said that, because you have to defend the government and you have to justify what explanation you have made. It does not mean that what he has said is absolutely correct or absolutely true. It does not mean that. And it does not mean it's not true. But the only body that can let us know whether that was true or not are the lawmakers, because they are the ones that are empowered to scrutinize government expenditure and they give it a clean bill of health if it's passed as such or otherwise. But we are not hearing from them. So he has gone to an international level forum to say that what was told us back at home, what the president has been saying all the while has been, oh, ask your governor, you've been getting more money. No one has been asking the federal government. The federal government has been getting more money. What has he been using it for?
Okay.
So beyond statements, we should see corroborative facts on ground, physical facts that will say, oh, what Mr. Minister has said is right. We can see this project. We can see that project. And when we place side by side, input and output, do they justify one another? It's important that should happen. So we need an external body for us to verify either rightly or not rightly what the minister has said.
Okay, so let's open the phone lines now. 0906 2000 949, 0809 7000 949, 0705 5000 949, Facebook 32FM 949 Fayenne. That's 0906 2000 949, 0809 7000 949, 0705 5000 949, 0809 7,000 949, Facebook 32FM 949 Fayenne. So quickly, let's go to Osun State, because Osun State has been in the news for some time now regarding what is going on in the state as they count down to that governorship election. There have been concerns of rising spate of violence, although a peace accord was signed yesterday. But there are still, a lot of things happening, accusations here and there, especially against the Commissioner of Police. The Secretary of the State Government was also arrested. He has been released by the Osun State Police Command, as confirmed by Pelumi Olajengbese, the spokesperson for the Mole Campaign Council, the group leading the re-election campaign of Governor Ademola Adeleke. He was arrested. The police said that, there had been some sensitive materials that were allegedly recovered from his, residence. They said that among those arrested was a suspect in the police watch list in connection with criminal offences, one Oladele Abiodun. What's your reading of the situation in Osun State as we count down to that governorship election in the state?
My thought before now was that we have travelled and we have gotten to a point where we should not be seeing what we are seeing playing out in Osun State. It baffles one when we are seeing election as a do or die affair. And the question one raises is this: what exactly are these people, out for? Are they out for us or are they out for themselves? Why should we be killing why should we be, engaging in towards activities because we want to serve our people? It should worry all of us. But unfortunately, we see elections they have to hold, whatever happens. But we can only appeal that our players should play the game according to the rule, so that we can enjoy the game. If we just finish the World Cup. If players were kicking themselves, boxing themselves, we wouldn't have enjoyed the game. So our politicians should copy from the sports, and let it be something like a game that everybody will enjoy, and then be satisfied with the outcome thereafter. The issue now with what has been playing out, whatever the result is announced in Osun State, will become contentious. With what we have been seeing so far, they are laying the ground for not accepting the result of that election on all the sides, because the picture they are giving us that everybody is desperate, and I don't think we should be so desperate to serve people, to offer ourselves for service. We should not be so desperate. But that's what we are seeing. And what is going to help out of that? Everyone is at a loss, because what we witnessed in 1999, 2003, and thereabouts is what we are still witnessing now. The question is why?
Right.
Why is service has become so serious that we think it's all is fair in war? Lives have been lost. We can't bring back those lives. Nothing can compensate for those lives that have been lost. Right. You can replace any facility that is either stolen, damaged, or whatever. But you cannot replace life. And our people should know that by the time when you are sent to that office, who are you going to govern? Human being living or human being dead? They should ask themselves that question and provide answer to it.
All right, 0906 2000 949, 0705 5000 949. That's 0906 2000 949. Let me go to Facebook. Sulaiman Sheriff says, Nigeria security architecture. Okay, we'll come back to this. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, my brother.
Good morning, sir.
Ade from UI.
Welcome.
This experience of Governor Makinde and Governor Adeleke, what they are facing presently, my brother, it's beyond what anybody can think about democracy. And it would have not been like this if ordinarily, as a president that is from Yoruba land, if I happen to be Yoruba president, my brother, by now whatever party you belong to, you must have been automatically you will have been supporting my party, because the way I will have touched every life. You must have the president has not made any impact anywhere in Yoruba land. That's why he's making all these efforts, contacting Oba, intimidating everybody in Osun State.
Okay.
Using so many things. We can see, my brother. But finally, my brother, what Adeleke can do, they will not. The election, they might not announce him. But
let's not preempt. Let's not preempt the outcome of the election.
Okay.
Yes, let's not preempt. Yes.
Okay, let me finalize.
Right.
Let him put camera in every way and prepare for every evidence, so that I'm hoping that after next election, the president, if God help me personally, if he did not win the election for second time, the next president will now get this, whoever they announce in this issue as the right person. The person will now use a court to get his mandate back. That's the only way out.
Okay.
These people, they will scatter everything.
All right, let's not preempt the outcome of the election. Let's not preempt it. 0906 2000 949. And politicians, sometimes the more you look, less you see, because the Governor Adeleke you're talking about too has already endorsed the president for a second term. 0906 2000 949. Sulaiman Sheriff says Nigeria security architecture must shift from reacting to attacks to preventing them through accurate data, digital identity. Okay, let me take this. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Dad.
Good morning.
Our public affairs, I don't know you are picking it up. Our public affairs is Dr. Bayo Busai, as well as you, Dr. YUSUF. See what are we saying this morning? Is it truly this? Or is it?
Oh, I'm afraid I can't hear you clearly. Please call us back. Hello,
good morning.
Good morning.
Prince Bumi Adefosi calling from Akpata.
Welcome.
All the advice given by the president to the current governors, to me, is also applicable to him as well. He also building bridges, coastal road. He's also, you see, during his own time, the naira we have today, he cannot be compared to the power the naira has then during his time. So there is low purchasing power today. There's inflation today. So if you now say, okay, to construct maybe 5 kilometers of road, you'll be spending billions of naira. But what the lesson there is, let the state government also responsible as well, because Mr. President also set aside 1 trillion naira for SUVs. Is that not a consumption? That's my assumption. Good morning.
All right, good morning. Hello. Good morning.
What are we saying in Russia?
The line is breaking. Yes, but the line is breaking, but we can manage. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. It's because our Excellency, former President of Nigeria, let justice prevail in that particular era. If not for this particular APC, they will have not. Are you getting what I'm saying? If you want to let justice prevail, a bloody election, 𝐒𝐾𝐇, OSHO, etc., Today we are including the Ondo State. Suppose this government we are, they will not. And I don't know how you can put it inside the constitution. Our doctor is there because he is something that is related to government. It can do anything can do that, put into law. Maybe they put CDA government until that particular so that 𝐒𝐾𝐇, Ondo, etc., they will now undo that election generally because the situation we are now, they want the government body, they concentrate on Osun State. You need that particular seat. That the situation rocking the state. I can't move it fast.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. 0906-200949 on Facebook. So like I mentioned, Nigeria security architecture must shift from reacting to attacks to preventing them through data identity, early warning system, and intelligence surveillance technology must become the country's primary tool for tackling insurgency, banditry, and cybercrime. It is our judge says, how come it's Mr. Taiwo Oyedele that is telling Nigerians that the savings from fuel subsidy is gone? Is now being used to finance student loans. Earlier, we were told its funding is coming from recovered loot. Okay. Bilkis Onoduro says the president is right. Flyovers are less important. We need rural roads for farmland and security. However, we get substandard rural roads that don't last up to a year, even in cities. It's a waste of public funds to build a road that will wash away in the next rainy season. Why do many state governors keep on awarding contracts to incompetent, corrupt contractors who use cheap materials? It's so heartbreaking. Atuluwala Shadesola says it is painful that... Okay, let me take this. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead, very quickly.
As regard to the peace accord signed in also state for the upcoming of the gubernatorial elections in also state. But what is happening in also for purpose of this now? I don't understand this kind of peace accord. When those are supposed to make sure that there is peace in Osho, it's like they are the one that even fomenting peace, or rest in Osho. Look at how they transferred the commissioner of police there. About 𝐔𝐈𝐒. So to me, it's not about signing the peace accord. It's about make sure that there is no any problem. If there is any law that the party that causes the problem even before the election should be censured. That should be the better. This kind of peace accord that we're talking about. Even during the election, if there is any political party that's even causing the problem, they are into the state. And after the election, they will release them. What's the meaning of peace accord?
Right.
And for me, that is what Mr. President said to the governor. Here is a good one. Here is a good one. They should embark on the.
All right. Thank you.
Also, the Mr. President also to back on better and good projects, not to be inflating the project. Thank you and good morning.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Let's quickly take this comment tonight. It's painful that after trillions of naira have been spent on Nigeria's public refineries. The result is persistent fuel price hikes, the rising cost of living, and increasing poverty among ordinary Nigerians. Those responsible must be held accountable while government focuses on lasting solution that puts the welfare of citizens first. Omade Adekunle says Nigeria can no longer treat insecurity with soft measures. Terrorists, bandits, kidnappers, and their sponsors must face swift justice under the law. Strong penalties, including capital punishment where legally applicable, can serve as a deterrent. No criminals should be above the law. Oluwaseun says the peace accord signing ahead of the Osun election is commendable. What matters now is a peaceful, free and fair, credible election. INEC and security agencies must uphold neutrality and protect the people's democratic choice. Thank you. Samson Ademowagun says, we have zero accountability in Nigeria. By now, the president should have resigned for excessive borrowing by his administration, as his administration has borrowed Nigeria to the extent that Nigeria has reached its limits due to debt burden despite fuel subsidy removal. Thank you, dear listener, for joining us. Thank you, Dr. Busari, for helping us break down the stories. Thank you so much. Don't forget to join us every weekday, 6:30 to 7:30 on Break It Down Papers Review on your laughter station, 32 FM 94.9. On Saturdays, is 6 to 7 a.m. Stay tuned, and Sumba will be here in the next couple of minutes on the Smart Kids Show. My name is OLORUNTOBA. YUSUF. Enjoy the rest of your Friday morning. Bye for now.